What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. Today, I want to make a different video. I know this is a Juggalo channel. Most of my subscribers are Juggalos. But being the fan of Fear Factory that I am, I have to make this video talking about the whole situation going on with Fear Factory and the fact that Burton C. Bell left. And address this tweet that Dino Cazares sent out from a group, it looks like, on Facebook that somebody had made a comment on. And I have to point it out because I feel like I can kind of represent that group of people, maybe, is the word I'm looking for. And so I just kind of want to really talk about how I discovered Fear Factory, my love for Fear Factory, my love for Burton C. Bell's voice, and address this tweet. So let's start off with that. So Fear Factory, for me, when I had originally first heard of them, I actually thought they were a techno group. That is because of the video game Test Drive 5. In the spring of 1999, my family had moved back to my hometown of Parker City, Indiana. And one of my uncles had given my oldest brother a PlayStation and 2 games, Tomb Raider and Test Drive 5. From there, we had discovered Genetic Blueprint from the Remanufacture album, as well as 21st Century Jesus. There are 2 songs featured on that game. Fast forward quite a bit, and the same oldest brother, in the year 2005, 2006, he had 2 CDs, Archetype and Transgression, by the band Fear Factory. And the name was familiar to me because of Test Drive 5. We really loved the 2 songs that were on there, Genetic Blueprint and 21st Century Jesus. We had downloaded them through Cazares, I think at the time, pirating sites. We really loved those songs. We thought they were great. So when I found out Fear Factory was more of a metal band, I didn't fuck with metal for the longest time. I just didn't care for it. But fast forward a little bit more to 2008, my older brother, not my oldest, another brother, he was listening to Archetype while playing Tomb Raider. Crazy how it's all kind of come full circle. I happened to be sitting in the room with him, and when he's listening to Archetype, and the song Corporate Cloning came on, and the chorus came on, and I heard Burton singing, and I'm like, wait, this is Fear Factory? I enjoyed what I had heard so much, I went and I listened to the album Archetype, and I loved what I heard. Drones, Archetype, Corporate Cloning were standout songs, and it was all Burton's voice that drew me in. So naturally from there, because our oldest brother also had Transgression, and my older brother burnt copies of them, I listened to Transgression. And again, I loved everything I heard because I loved Burton's voice. And I know, if there's any Fear Factories that are coming and discovering my channel for the first time, and you're hearing me say that, you're probably going to be like, oh, just credit this guy, he fucking blows, blah, 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 close out of it. You got to remember, at this point in time, those are the only 2 Fear Factory albums I was aware of. It took time to expand, okay? I did the same thing with discovering ICP, the same thing with Twisted, and everybody in the realm of Psychopathic Records in the Juggalo world. It's always a slow process with me. That's just how I am. You get me into this one project, and then I go from there. It expands. So naturally, my brother, he wanted to hear more Fear Factory, and he went and he pirated Obsolete. So I play Obsolete. The standout songs on there were always the ones where Burton was really singing. Securitron. Edge Crusher was always kind of good because I liked the bass in it, but there wasn't a lot of singing in that one. Descent was a great one. Resurrection was a standout one, and Timelessness I fell in love with. That is such a beautiful song, and it's all Burton singing. So the point I'm trying to say is, Burton is what drew me in to Fear Factory. It was his voice and the way he sang. I loved that. It wasn't all screaming. It wasn't all bang, bang, bang with the instruments. He sang, and I was so blown away by that. So much, he actually allowed me to give other metal groups a chance, like Slipknot. Now, granted, I'm not as huge of a fan of Slipknot. Like their first 2 albums, Iowa and self-titled Slipknot, I don't care for them because there's not a lot of singing. Now, Volume 3, the Subliminal Verses, I love because, again, Corey Taylor starts singing in that. Burton created the I gotta have singing if I'm gonna fuck with metal. I don't do the screaming, the constant yelling. There's gotta be singing now. That's kind of a requirement for me to fuck with it. And it's all because of Burton C. Bell. So, what I want to point out here is this tweet that was put out. So, here is the tweet in question. Or, you know. Who here is giving up Fear Factory after Burton C. Bell's departure? I am. You have to understand, as a child, my first Fear Factory experience was Archetype in 2004. It was Burton with Raymond Herrera, Christian Old Wolvers, and Byron Stroud. That was what got me into Fear Factory in the first place. I was willing to stick with Fear Factory if at least one of these men were still there. But now with Burton gone, there are no Archetype members anymore, and there was no Dino Cazares when I first discovered them. Hence, that's why Fear Factory is null and void to me now. Aggression Continuum is the very last Fear Factory album I will ever buy, unless Burton, Raymond, Christian, or even Byron rejoins. I am not spending a single cent on Future Things by Dino and Friends. Okay, so I just told you guys, like, how I discovered Fear Factory. Super duper, like, reminiscent to this guy. Now, when Burton C. Bell left the group, I really kind of was questioning if I was going to stick with listening to future Fear Factory projects. And it was nothing against Dino. I think he's a great guitarist. The music that is on each Fear Factory album, I understand and know he put a lot of that writing into, even with some of the drums, especially the previous 3 albums, okay? Mechanized, Industrialist, Genexus. I guess I should say 4 albums, because it's Continuum, Aggression Continuum is coming out. A lot of the music, I know Dino is behind. So I was questioning, am I going to continue, because it's going to have a different sound? And the reason I say that is I know Raymond and Christian did go do that. You know, they continued with another band, but a different singer. And when you listen to the album, and I'm not even going to try to mention the group name, because every time I like pronounce it to myself, I butcher the shit out of it. Like I said, I'm gonna butcher it. I went and listened to it because I had read somewhere that a lot of the tracks in that album were songs originally slated to be Fear Factory songs. You know, and I liked Archetype and I liked Transgression. I was like, why not? Let's give it a try. The singer they have, wow, no. I made it like 3 songs in and I stopped. And I was like, you can tell the sound of these songs were meant to be Fear Factory. The fact that they don't have Burton on here, it's killing it. Because I'm hearing a Fear Factory sound, you know, to the Archetype and Transgression albums, but the vocals aren't matching. So it really fucked with me, and I was like, I couldn't do it. I may be able to revisit that, I don't know. Because I've come to another conclusion through watching all these tweets that Dino's getting hit with, you know, of like throwing ideas out there for who he should sign or who he should have be the new singer of Fear Factory. And I'm seeing his responses of, no, they wouldn't be able to do the clean vocals of this song, or they wouldn't be able to do the same vocals that Burton did with that song. Like, he's pointing out things that they wouldn't be able to do that Burton could. And I seen that and I went, yes! Because that told me he's taking his time and he's finding the right fit, the right person. He's not just going to throw anybody in that position to fill that position. He's going to find the right person with the right sound. And that has not only given me faith that Fear Factory is a band I will continue to support, but that it will sound good and that he's doing this the right way. Like, my faith in Dino is there. Now, the other thing I want to point out too is the respect that Dino has gained from me is amazingly high. Because in interviews, a recent one, the interviewer basically had said there's 10 Fear Factory albums, but there's technically only 8. Because he wasn't counting Archetype or Transgression, because Dino wasn't in them. And Dino's response was, they are Fear Factory albums whether I was in them or not. That took my respect to the fucking moon, because those are the 2 albums I came in on. Those are 2 albums that I really hold dearly to me. I'm not going to sit here and say they're the best Fear Factory albums. Genexus is. A lot of people will say Demanufacture. It's up there, for sure. but I really love the energy and everything behind Genexus. And of course, goddamn, how many fucking songs is Burton singing his fucking heart out? I love it. That's what I love about Fear Factory, is the sound that Dino has and the way Burton sings. They mesh so fucking well. They make beautiful music together. That's ultimately why I hope like Burton pulls his head out of his ass and rejoins the band for the next album. But if he doesn't, I'm not just going to say fuck Dino and Fear Factory. You know, if they find the right vocalist, I think they will continue to make beautiful music. It's got to take the right singer. You know, and that's the other thing I want to point out about Archetype and Transgression. When you take those albums and you compare them to all the other Fear Factory albums, listen to the sounds, listen to the themes. The whole man versus machine is really really downplayed a lot in Archetype and Transgression. A lot. Like, there's no theme to those when it comes to that. A little bit in, like, some of Archetype songs, but Transgression, not so much. And I know a lot of people hate Transgression. I think it's a great song, or a great album. I feel like it's more of a rock album than a metal album, and maybe that's why fans hate it. Even band members have stated it wasn't mixed right, but I still fuck with it. I really enjoy it. And again, Burton's singing is what I love about it. It's just a great sounding album to me. So when you take those two albums and compare them to everything else, they're missing that Dino touch to them. Like, the music and the recording, you can tell, like, to me, I mean, and I could be wrong, I could just be assuming here, but it seems to me like Dino and Burton, they sat down together, they talked ideas. Burton, like, and Dino's kind of confirmed this, with Fuel Injected Suicide Machine, Burton came up with the name of the song, and from there, Dino was like, okay, so this is based off of the Knight Rider from Mad Max, and he made it, he did his guitar to sound like a car the best he could. So, to me, that tells me they sit down and they talk ideas. He comes up with the music, Burton comes up with the lyrics and maybe the theme of the song. And the way that they work on the music together is the way it should be. So, I think a lot of the great music a lot of us love, Demanufactured, Genexus for me, which I say is their best album, but I really love all the albums. There's not a single album where I can't listen to it front to back. You know, so that tells me that Dino is behind a lot of the themes of some of Fear Factory's best music. Archetype and Transgression is great, but the themes that they were missing tells me that Dino was the one that brought those elements to those songs. As long as Dino can find somebody who has a lot of the same ideals and thoughts that he has, like Burton did, I feel like they'll continue to make great music. So, but the whole point of what I'm trying to say is, knowing that he's not just accepting anybody and he's taking his time and really picking the right person gives me faith that I will continue to support Fear Factory. And I look forward to listening to the rest of Aggression Continuum. I know I had made a tweet about the album originally being called Monolith, and I love the name Aggression Continuum so much better, because it is the continuation of Aggression, the continuation of Fear Factory. The fight against the machine continues. You know, all those themes are there. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to hear the rest of the fucking album. And as of right now, my plan is to do a review of every single Fear Factory album and drop them leading up to the release and eventual review of the brand new album. So that's been long overdue. Like, I think a lot of subscribers have known for years that I love Fear Factory, but I made very little videos about it. So this was a well overdue video. And, you know, with everything that happened with Fear Factory and Burton leaving, it was time to talk about Fear Factory. I couldn't not talk about Fear Factory. So I was saddened to see Burton Seabell go, because I love his voice. That's what drew me in. But knowing that Dino is not just going to fill that position with anybody, it has given me faith that I will continue to be a big-time Fear Factory fan. And my respect for Dino Cazares is to the fucking moon, because, you know, he doesn't discredit Archetype and Transgression. He accepts them as Fear Factory albums, and that, to me, is fucking awesome. So, yeah. You guys tell me down below if you guys are fans of Fear Factory. How did you take the news of Burton leaving the band? And will you be continuing to support the group? I hope so, because, you know, to me it's not just one member that makes the band. I think, you know, it takes a few elements. So hopefully Dino can find somebody just as well to work with. Hopefully Burton was well to work with, and I'm not putting my foot in my mouth with that statement. But hopefully he finds somebody good to work with similar ideals as him as far as the vocals go and the stories that they want to tell with future projects. But anyway, leave your thoughts down below. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.